I bought the Garmin A1i and the Burris Oracle 2 so I could check them out and compare them to one another so you didn't have to waste your hard-earned money to do the same thing. Hey, if you've never been here before, my name's Trent and I appreciate you coming to watch this video. And if you have been here before, I appreciate you coming back. Now, I want to start this video because this is truly supposed to be a comparison video, but I want to start this video by letting you know what these bow sights are and what they aren't. Because I feel like if you're going to drop this amount of money, it's only fair that you know the truth about what they are and what they aren't. They are fantastic range-finding bow sights. Both of them could be extremely lethal. They range extremely accurately. I was very happy with the performance of them in that aspect. But they are rangefinders, and they have all the same problems that a regular rangefinder was. If you get some foliage in between you and your target, these are going to be messed up by the foliage if you happen to hit it. I would assume that fog is probably going to mess them up. Unfortunately, I had no way to test that. The Garmin can range animals to 100 yards and 300 yards maximum range for reflective targets, which, you know, we're bow hunting, so we don't need to range any further. Don't get that twisted. But it does have limitations, and the Burris can do 500 yard reflective targets, 200 yards on animals. And again, we're bow hunting. We don't need anything crazy far, but it is a limitation. The Burris is heavier than the Garmin by a lot, by 5 ounces, which I guess that doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's on your bow and you're trying to balance it, it feels pretty significant. And that's another thing. These are both heavy enough, you're going to have a back bar to get any kind of decent balance out of your bow, because your bow sight on the same side as your quiver, it's going to be so lopsided heavy that I can't imagine even trying to balance that without a sidebar. And even if you were to take your quiver off and you do it like that, it's still a lot of weight. I mean, this is 15 ounces, this is 1 pound 3 ounces. It's a lot to put on the side of a bow. So just know, if you're buying this, prepare to invest in a back bar if you don't have one. When it comes to actual use and function, I actually prefer the Burris over the Garmin. The Burris has a nice clicky tactile switch, and it's super easy to range with. You click it once, it ranges it, you're good to go. You can click it again and it'll re-range. The Garmin does not have a tactile switch at all. Matter of fact, I had a lot of problems telling when I was pushing the switch on the Garmin, and it was just a lot more uncomfortable for me to push. Now, when it comes to switch attachment, the Garmin wins all day. It's got 2 strips of tape, one goes around the bottom, one around the top. It's not going. This attaches with Velcro, and a lot of times I felt like I was going to lose the button, even just shooting in the backyard, much less walking through brush on public land or something like that. When it comes to actually sighting in the sights, I give the advantage again to Burris, but only slightly. It actually took me longer to sight in the Burris because it took me quite a while to line this rangefinder up with the bow sight, and the Xero was pretty much factory lined up to begin with. I mean, it was a couple small adjustments. The thing I really like about the Burris is the gang adjust to move it left and right and up and down is all toolless and micro adjust. And the Garmin requires an Allen wrench, and there's no micro adjust at all, which is kind of sad considering this is a $1,000 bow sight and this is an $800 bow sight. The actual sighting in process with the Burris, you have to be able to get out to 60 yards, which is a huge downside. The Garmin, I could do out to 40 and shoot it that way. Now, here's the other downside though. Once you hit this at 60 yards, you can range and shoot as far as the housing will actually allow you to shoot. With the Garmin, you can only shoot as far as the furthest pin you've done. So if you can only do 40 yards in your backyard and you don't have any range anywhere else, you're stuck to 40 yards with this bow sight. Now, if you can do out to, you know, 70, 80, you can reach all the way out there. But and that kind of sucks to me. You know, you're spending this kind of money. I would assume that after you filled in a couple points, it's like the Burris. The way the Burris works is you do 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. And then it uses that trajectory to calculate trajectory past that. I expected Garmin to do the same thing, and didn't. The pins on, this is another win for Burris for me. The pins on the Burris are more fine and they didn't starburst. The Garmin, even at its dimmest setting, the pin starburst pretty bad for me. Now, sight picture, however, on the Garmin blows the Burris way out of the water, because the further away you get, the more that this little tree thing going on in the middle here blocks your view, whereas this is see-through all the way. So the only thing blocking your view is a pin, just like if it was on a single pin bow sight. When it comes to functions built in, the Garmin destroys the Burris in every stretch. The A1 has so many features that it's almost ridiculous. I mean, it's got shot statistics which track things like group size, how many arrows you shot per session, how many sessions you're shooting. Group, what is it, group differential or something like that, so it tells you the difference between your first group and last group. I mean, it tracks an insane amount of stuff. You can also use it with some of the Garmin watches to figure out your location of a shot at a time. And you can adjust pin size, you can adjust pin brightness, you can adjust pin color on the Garmin. I mean, it literally does an insane amount of things for being in such a small package. The Burris has 2 arrow profiles. That's about it for the Burris. It doesn't do really anything extra. I think this can hold 5. The A1i it's a lot. It's more than 2. I think maybe it's 3. But anyways, you can hold several arrow profiles in this guy. So functionality wise, Garmin all day long. I can see situations where these bow sights could potentially make you a more lethal bow hunter in the woods, and to me that's priceless. If you're somebody that wants a lot of features and wants a bow sight that can do a lot of cool things, the Garmin is going to be your huckleberry. If you're somebody that just wants kind of a bare bones range finding bow sight that'll get the job done, you're going to want the Burris, because really it's simpler to set up. It's, in my opinion, easier to use. The switch is a whole lot better. So let me know in the comments which is a better fit for you. The Burris, which is kind of a simple man's, easy to go, ready to go bow hunting sight, or the Garmin, which is a feature-packed powerhouse that can let you do all kinds of stuff, as well as kill animals. Also, if you guys found this video helpful, I'll have affiliate links for both these sites from Amazon in the description below. If you click on that, I get a small commission. It costs you absolutely nothing extra, but it does help me grow the channel. And also, if you want to watch me review more cool stuff, you can click on this video here.